morning. Here we are again. I guess this is day 3 technically, working on the old Honda. And today the idea is to get the sub-transmission removed. And we're just flying blind here. This is way deep into Honda territory. It's not something I've ever worked on before, so we're gonna just figure it out. And we have another situation similar to yesterday where the book says you're gonna need a special tool. And I don't have a special tool. So we're gonna come up with a redneck solution, I propose. Or we're gonna just give up and, throw this thing in the garbage can. I'm not really sure. But I should inform you that I did shave. Yesterday I was quite scraggly looking, and so I'm same guy, just shaved, no big deal. But also I have a guest here today, so I'd like to introduce you to Tommy. So say hi, Tommy.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
So this is the sub-transmission. We just took the bolts off to remove the cover. And according to the book, we have this and the starter and the tack cable and a couple of bolts on mounts, and then this baby's gonna fall right out. So what we're looking at is, these are called the reduction gears. Remember, this thing has the high and the low range. I think one of them's like 48 teeth and one of them's like 43 teeth or something. So that shows you the difference. But basically the transmission power comes out of that one and then it goes through this one to the rear wheel. And the high or low selects which gear set you're on. So we need to get in here and take these clips out and try to get everything separated without killing ourselves. One of these things in here is spring loaded, and that's what the special tool is all about. It compresses the springs and lets you take out the clips. So we might need to rig up some redneck clamp approach. But we will see. Hopefully we still have all our fingers in a few minutes. Okay, brain boggling problem number 1 for the day. The book's like, oh yeah, just pull these clips. Yep, no problem. Pull the washer, yep, no problem. Pull the gear, yep, no problem. We did that. And then let's remove the next one. Well, okay, sure, I'll just pull on that thing. Oh wait, no. You see? So now, the book says just remove. What I don't see, does not compute. So we gotta figure that out. Comprendo, senor. Very stuck. Tommy is not doing his job. Things are not going well. We're way off the plan now. We're just spitballing it and ripping hardware off, and nothing makes sense anymore. It's getting real. So we could not figure that out. It is beyond our intellectual capacity. And then we said, well, let's do the next thing, which was loosen the swing arm, which I assume is to accommodate the removal of that. And we're gonna try to not remove that, even though the book says you need to remove that, but we're gonna pretend we're smarter than the book. So anyway, the swing arm is loose. And the next step is remove the starter, which we're in the process of. And then we're just gonna play dumb and try to lift it out and see what stops us. I assume there will be a hernia involved and a slip disc in my back, probably a crushed finger and some curse words. But I'll get back to you once we've cleaned up all the blood. Okay, so I'm starting to see the wisdom in Tommy's method. He let me think we were gonna follow the book so that I could struggle and learn about the beauty of the journey here. And now we said, screw the book. We just kept working, and we got the sub-transmission off on the back side, and we got all the engine mounting bolts off. And now, following Tommy's guidance, he's gonna let me lift the engine out, I think, probably on my own to learn the lesson. So let me show you where we're at. Sub-transmission is gone. What ended up happening, we had it all ready to come off just like it was. See, that stupid gear is still in there. That's what we needed the special tool for. We didn't even take it off. That's what I get for listening to the book, I guess. But I just pried up here with a screwdriver, and this side of the case separated. And then this bugger here was connected to the front of the shaft drive, this rubber boot. And I couldn't get that to come off, so I took this side of the swing arm out, and the swing arm just fell backwards a little bit, which disconnected it, and then that sub-transmission just lifted right out. So now we've lost all faith in the book, and we're just doing it on our own, using our own genius. We've pulled a lot of mounting bolts out like that, and we're getting ready to lift this thing out, but I did put some chicken nuggets in the oven, and we still have our priorities. So I think we're gonna hit up the chicken nuggets pretty hard and then come back and try to lift this thing. Tommy's excited. Bye, George, we've almost got it. It's like 70 degrees from the stock location. We're stuck on this bracket and that shaft on the frame rail and that bracket. Where the heck is it? There. So we're just moving everything around, trying to figure out how to get this thing out without dying, because it's 263 pounds according to the book that I have a love-hate relationship with. So feel free to comment down below and tell me how to get this thing out of here, because it's very stuck right now. Great news, we've had a revelation. The frame comes apart, so we just unbolt it, and now she's ready to come out. One more seam back here, and that's gonna come right out. So this is what we look like now. Okay, that's what Tommy looks like. See, 10 fingers, 10 toes. Hopefully that's still the case in about 10 minutes. All right, she's out. It's gone. Once we unbolted the frame right there, got much easier. It just kind of gave us the 2 inches we needed, and it dropped right out. And she's ready for disassembly over here. So we are gonna start working our way down. Valve cover's been removed already. So you can kind of see exhaust tubing comes out here. Oil filter housing. And this is, I think there's a line here where the cylinders will come off of the lower half of the case. So we're just gonna start working our way down to the crankshaft, probably using the book at this point, but we'll see, who knows. Well, after much weeping and gnashing of teeth, we finally got the engine out and apart. And I'm not sure what to think yet. There's a lot of kind of conflicting information, and I'm not sure if I want to have super high standards and put this thing back together with all new parts, or if I want to say good enough. We'll see how it goes and cross my fingers. But I'll get in here and show you what we found. So this is the cylinder head with a sleeve for each cylinder. These are where the exhaust lined up, and the cams were up here, and these are all the shims for all the valves. The valves are, you can just kind of see them barely. You can see the exhaust valve on this side. Pretty dirty, but that's not a problem all by itself. This one's actually wet, which might be a problem. See, that one's kind of dry, that one's kind of shiny. I'm not sure. And then we did find, kind of a funny looking wear pattern on one of the pistons. Yeah. And you can see there's a lot of, I don't know what, there's just a lot of marks on the top and the bottom of the head next to the valves. Almost like something was in there, you know, like a broken spark plug tip or a rock or something. And there's matching scars on this piston. So the thing I don't know is how long has it been like that? Maybe it was the previous dude and they just put it back together, and I just haven't driven it long enough to get the top coated in carbon like the rest of it. I mean, I don't know. It's really hard to tell. All of them have carbon, and that's not really a surprise. Like most of the pistons out there in any car are going to be covered in carbon like that. This one is definitely heavy. You can't even see the indents for the valves. So I'm not sure what to think, you know. Obviously we can clean it. I didn't find any broken pieces in here. And then the next thing I'm worried about is the amount of play that I'm seeing here. You can move the piston back and forth, and it's mostly movement on the wrist pin, and it's a little bit movement way down inside where the piston meets the crankshaft. So that tells me that the rod bearings are, this is the piston that I'm holding, and then this part in the middle is the connecting rod, and down there is going to be the rod bearing where it connects to the crankshaft. And the fact that I can see that much motion left to right, I think means they're toast. And I think that means it just needs rod bearings, which is what my guess was, but it's tough. You know, this is the first motorcycle engine I've worked on, and they behave a little differently in the way that the cylinder engages with the block and the piston engages with the head. It's just a little bit different relationship. So I don't know what to expect here. So I think what we're going to do for the next step is continue disassembly. And by that, I mean at this line here, there's actually a seam, and this will split. And they have a top half and a bottom half, and it goes all the way around this whole assembly. You can see the seam right here, seam right here. So this whole top half will lift up and separate from the lower half, and then we can get in there and look at the crank and look at the bearings and actually take the connecting rod off the crank and measure, you know, the journal diameter. And well, I'm sure we'll see that the bearings have bad wear patterns on them, and I would be cool with buying like a rebuild kit, because they make a lot of, you know, rebuild kit options where it includes all the seals and the gaskets and, you know, little things like these stupid O-rings and all the kind of stuff that you need. And then a set of bearings, crank bearings. That would probably be, I'm guessing, a few $100s for those parts. And I don't mind spending a few $100s to get this back together. But if I have to start buying pistons and, you know, get the head work done and valve drama, I'm not down for that. So I think I can buy a whole engine off of eBay for about $500 or $600. But anyway, that's where we're leaving it for today. So I'll visit you guys again soon when we are gonna split the case and start doing some more inspection. So thanks for your time today.